สวัสดีค่ะ and welcome to Thailand News Today with me, Natty, filling in for Jet Gunther today. In today's news, the COVID-19 death toll could be much higher than what is officially being reported. The latest updates on the Songkran festival in Thailand and Thailand's latest Betong Airport in Yala province brings tourism hope to the southern province. All that and more coming right up. The COVID-19 death toll is much higher than what has been officially reported, according to a recent analysis published in The Lancet, a medical journal. The analysis estimates that the global number of fatalities related to the COVID-19 pandemic reached 18.2 million by December 31st, 2021, which triples the number of deaths reported at 5.94 million. The findings were based on excess mortality, which the World Health Organization says is the difference between the total number of deaths in a crisis compared to those expected under normal conditions. This also accounts for the number of deaths that were indirectly attributed to COVID-19, like the disruption of essential health services due to the pandemic. The analysis states, quote, "The full impact of the pandemic has been much greater than what is indicated by the reported deaths due to COVID-19 alone. Strengthening death registration systems around the world, long understood to be crucial to global public health strategy, and is necessary for improved monitoring of this pandemic and future pandemics," end quote. The number of excess deaths due to COVID-19 was largely in the regions of South Asia, North Africa, and the Middle East, and Eastern Europe, according to the analysis in The Lancet. For Thailand, as of the end of 2021, the country reported a total of 21,700 COVID-related deaths. The analysis estimated around 35,200 excess deaths in Thailand from January 2020 to the end of 2021. 8 bus passengers were killed and more than 20 injured after a double-decker bus crashed into the concrete pillar for the overhead bridge. In a recent drug test, the bus driver tested positive for methamphetamine. A total of 32 passengers were on the Bangkok-Suvarnabhumi bus operated by the state-run transport company. 5 people died immediately at the scene, and 3 later died at the hospital. 22 people, including the driver, were admitted to hospitals to treat their injuries. The passenger bus was driving on Mitraphab Road in the central province of Saraburi on Saturday. Another driver who witnessed the accident posted a dashcam video of the accident. The bus appeared to be driving at a high speed when it hit the bridge's supporting pillar, ripping the right side of the bus. Some passengers were ejected from the bus due to the strong impact and were found lying on the road. Others were trapped inside the vehicle. The bus's route was from the Suvarnabhumi district of Isan province, Roi Et, and was headed to Bangkok. Saraburi provincial transport officers say the bus's GPS reported the speed at about 80 kilometers per hour. If the driver was found to be driving recklessly, he could be charged up to 5,000 baht, and his license could be suspended for 30 days to 90 days. If any malfunctions were found on the bus, the transport company could be charged up to 50,000 baht as well as 1.1 million baht in compensation for the passengers. A 30-year-old male passenger told Thai media, saying he was picked up mid-route in the Isan province, Nakhon Ratchasima, and on his way back to Bangkok. He says he woke up when the bus hit a barrier and then saw the bus crashed into the bridge's supporting pillar. He also noted that he was very lucky that he just sustained a mild injury. Thai officials have yet to set regulations on the massive water celebrations for Songkran, the Thai New Year. But the Public Health Ministry is recommending dry activities for the traditional ceremonies. To prevent the spread of COVID-19, the ministry is advising that Thais avoid the traditional act known as Rot Nam Dam Hua, where water is poured on the hands of relatives, mainly the elderly, as a blessing. Instead of the water ritual, Thais are being asked to bow while maintaining a safe social distance. Those traveling home during the holiday, which runs from April 13th to the 17th, are urged not to partake in the Rot Nam Dam Hua ceremony, as they could transmit the virus to the elderly who are at risk of a severe infection. So far, Songkran celebrations are planned to go ahead this year, but restrictions like if massive water fights will be allowed and to what extent will be discussed on Friday at the Center for COVID-19 Situation Administration General Meeting. PM Prayut Chan-o-cha has reportedly given the green light for intra-provincial travel during the holiday.
Choose your trip to your favorite island with 5-Star Marine. Go to 5starmarinephuket.com.
With Thailand chairing the Asia-Pacific Economic Cooperation Trade Bloc this year, the Thai armed forces have warned Russia is likely to impose sanctions if the war on Ukraine continues. If the Russia-Ukraine conflict continues, economic sanctions on APEC will emerge. The trade bloc is made up of many countries, and that's the US, Russia, China, Japan, Australia, Canada, South Korea, Hong Kong, New Zealand, Brunei, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, the Philippines, Thailand, Taiwan, Chile, Mexico, Papua New Guinea, Peru, and Vietnam. The Royal Thai Armed Forces Security Center says Russia has already blacklisted 8 members: the US, Canada, Australia, Japan, South Korea, Singapore, Taiwan, and New Zealand. According to a Nation Thailand report, the center points out that Thailand, which hosts APEC forums this year, will come under increased pressure if the US and its allies boycott the forums. In related news, the center says it's compiling information on terrorist organizations or groups that have come into conflict with APEC members, with a focus on the ASEAN region and lone wolf figures. In addition, officials in Thailand's 3 southern border provinces are on alert for locals traveling to countries with links to terrorism. The center says that so far, no APEC member has raised any particular concerns ahead of the meetings in October and November this year. However, it adds that Thailand is ramping up security and intelligence to protect the country's reputation. Meanwhile, the Foreign Ministry says it does not expect Russia's war on Ukraine to disrupt the October meeting of APEC members. The newly opened Betong Airport in the southern province of Yala has inspired hope of a tourism revival in the town. The Bangkok Post reports that the airport received its operating license from the Aviation Authority of Thailand on January 28th. The 920-rai facility can handle up to 300 passengers an hour or 80,000 a year. The airport is seen by many as a more viable and safer alternative to travel by road in the region, much of which involves travel across mountainous terrain. Betong Airport is around 13 kilometers east of the southern border town of Betong. It is owned and operated by the Department of Airports, the 29th airport under DOA management. The passenger terminal covers around 7,000 square meters, and the 1,800-meter runway can handle small aircrafts such as 80-seat turboprops. Nok Air launches its inaugural flight to Betong today, with plans to operate 3 scheduled flights a week on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Transport Minister Saksayam Chitchop says the airport could become a regional hub for travel between Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore. Meanwhile, Narin Ryang Wongsak from the Betong Tourism Business Association has high hopes for his sector, saying the airport puts Betong firmly on the tourism map. He says the town has many tourism attractions and has now become more accessible. According to Narin, many tourism operators in nearby provinces have inquired about the airport's opening and are now planning tour packages to welcome visitors from places like Bangkok and further afield. Kanpong Lim Kanchana from the Yala Chamber of Commerce echoes the message for hope of the regional tourism sector. He says the opening of the airport should help double visitor numbers to Betong, which currently welcomes around 2,000 tourists a day. You're all up to date now. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to get your latest news about everything Thailand. I'm Natty, once again, from the Thaiger, and you'll see Jet Gunther tomorrow. Sawadee ka.